Good morning, everyone. I'm Ann Ponder, and I serve as Chancellor at UNC Asheville. And in particular, I represent today the Board of Trustees at UNC Asheville, the group that has the pleasure and the authority to do dedications and naming. And so I represent them today. We are so honored today to celebrate one of the great figures in modern music. As a pioneer in the field of electronic music, Bob Moog transformed the very sound of music. In the 1970s, an era recalled by many of us, in the 1970s, Professor Moog introduced the Mini Moog synthesizer, revolutionizing sound and the role of keyboardists. The Mini Moog was the first easily portable synthesizer and brought what had been a lab-bound electronic music to the stage. Demand for Moog's instruments really soared after a performer, Wendy Carlos, used the Mini Moog to create the groundbreaking Bach album called Switched on Bach. The building of the success of the Mini Moog, after that, Dr. Moog later introduced the Polymoog and the Multimoog and the Liberation, a keyboard worn around the neck. Dr. Moog's career is marked by numerous awards, including the Silver Medal of the Audio Engineering Society, the Trustees Award of the National Academy of Recording Arts and Sciences, Billboard Magazine's Trendsetter Award, and the Seamus Award from the Society of Electroacoustic Music, that's a new word for me, electroacoustic music in the United States, and his personal favorite, the Polar Music Prize that was presented by the King of Sweden, just to name a few of his awards. He also wrote and spoke widely on topics related to music technology and helped advance its place within the greater discipline. Dr. Moog joined the UNC Asheville faculty as a research professor of music in 1988. Through his international pioneering reputation in the history of music, the UNC Asheville Electronic Music and Music Technology programs acquired a national reputation for excellence. As a member of the faculty, he inspired generations of students who today continue his extraordinary work. We are honored today to have a number of people with us, special not only to Professor Moog, but to this university. Unable to join us today is Dr. Ileana Grems-Moog. We hoped that she would be with us, but she is unable to join us today. But with us is Michelle Moog-Kusa, Bob's daughter. Would you do this so everybody knows where you are? Bob's daughter and executive director of the Bob Moog Foundation. Also with us is Michael Adams, vice president of the Bob Moog Foundation and president of Moog Music here in Asheville, which continues Bob's pioneering work through the manufacture of cutting-edge electronic music instruments. We are all pleased that you could join us today as we honor Bob's legacy, not only in music technology, but at UNC Asheville as well. I will return at the end of our program to do the dedication moment itself, but for now I am pleased to welcome to the podium the chair of UNC Asheville's music department and a musician whose own work has been influenced by Bob Moog. Please welcome to the podium Dr. Wayne Kirby.
Morning. Great to see you all here on this wonderful, wonderful morning. Thank you, Chancellor Ponder. Thanks to all of you for coming to celebrate the official naming of the Bob Moog Electronic Music Studio. I can't tell you how excited I am. Bob and I first met in 1974 and have been colleagues and friends ever since. So this is an incredibly special moment. The facility was created in honor of the legacy of Dr. Moog, and it currently houses a variety of classic analog synthesizers, including a Mini Moog, Moog Theremins, Moog processors, and other vintage and digital electronic music equipment. The studio is also equipped with some state-of-the-art digital software and hardware that allow composition of multimedia pieces for dancers and video, and you'll get to see some of the video shortly. This is all part of the music technology program. It enhances the electronic music courses and is an integral part of our participation in the undergraduate research program. Before I introduce UNCA senior Rosser Douglas and alumnus Steve Dunnington of Moog Music, I'd like to acknowledge a few of the people who were important in making the studio a reality. And I would like to start with somebody near and dear to my heart, someone who hired me about 26 years ago. And she's the founder of the music department, and of course, former chair, colleague and friend of Bob Moog's for many, many years. And she guided the department with vision and tenacity. And without her extraordinary efforts, the Bob Moog Electronic Music Studio would not have been possible. So I'd like to introduce you to Dr. Joyce Dorr. I'd also like to thank Mr. David Todd and his staff. David is Director of Facilities Management here. David, where are you? Put your hand up. All right. He and his staff did the actual renovation of what were two offices here, my office and Joyce Dorr's office, and Patrick Hill's office, of course. And I really appreciate his leadership and professionalism and pulling off this project. He oversaw the whole thing, including the heating and electrical and many other aspects of the studio. So I really appreciate it, and I appreciate all your folks. Thank you. Dr. Bill Spellman, is Dr. Spellman here? Well, he's a former dean, and he's the one instrumental in moving our office space off the lobby so that we could renovate this. And he worked like crazy, and I really would like to thank him. Jude Weinberg, my colleague in music technology program, who is standing right there. He was very helpful in designing the acoustical treatment and some of the other aspects of the facility. You already were introduced to Mike Adams, who the Chancellor introduced earlier. I'd like to thank him for the gift of a new theremin, which will be used in the studio and has been used in the studio and has loaned us some great equipment for the students to use in their Thursday night production. Thank you. Moog Music has been a good partner of the university for many years, dare I say decades. Yep. And so that's very exciting. I'd like to thank Patrick Hill, the glue that holds the most important person in the galaxy, possibly the universe. And Patrick has been instrumental in creating, designing. He's administrative support. We could not have done this without him. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Chancellor Ponder, Provost Fernandez, Dean Ashburn, who is back there. I appreciate all the wonderful friends and colleagues who have helped to make the studio possible. And of course, I'd especially like to thank our students, who through their musical efforts in the studio will continue to honor Bob Moog's legacy for years to come. I'd like to now introduce one of our graduating seniors this December, who has studied electronic music composition under Steve Dunnington from Moog Music, who you'll hear from momentarily. Ross has been an intern at Moog Music over the past semester, and I just got word that He has been offered and accepted employment at Moog Music starting after he graduates. So that's very exciting, and I'd like now to introduce Rosser Douglas. Congratulations.
Just to clear it up, I was an intern for a long time there. This was my third semester there, so it's been a pretty incredible time, and I want to thank Mike and everyone who's made that possible, because that's a pretty incredible experience, and I advise anyone in the room to try it if they can. Well, good morning. So I took electronic music composition, as Dr. Kirby had just said, with Steve Dunnington about 1.5 years ago, and I've really yet to lose my grip on this studio ever since. When my first recordings were made here, it was a little non-carpeted, non-sound treated, little cement cube with linoleum floors, and it's really grown, and I like to think that we and all the students have really grown as it's kind of expanded over the past semester. I've done things in here that have, consisted of just the manipulation of digital speech into a track, as much as cutting up 1/4-inch analog tape with samples that I've recorded myself and cut up and taped back together and sped up and slowed down and played backwards, and it's been pretty an incredible experience. I really owe a great deal of respect for the development and really creation, in some sense, of my creative identity and electrical know-how to these people and to this studio and to this school. I wouldn't have been able to do anything I've done here without the help of Dr. Kirby and Steve Dunnington and Jude Weinberg and the music department, and obviously, of course, Dr. Moog. And there's no one in the world that we could be more honored to dedicate this studio to than Dr. Moog. And I think for all that he's done for us, for all the students here, and for the world of electronic music, we're in a world of eternal debt. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Rosser, and congratulations again. I'd now like to introduce Stephen Dunnington. And Steve is a very, very special guy. He's a 1993 alumnus of the UNCA Music Technology program. He studied directly under Bob Moog. And Bob was so impressed that immediately upon graduation, he was hired, much like Rosser, and became Bob's right-hand man for many years. He's the kind of guy that would take advanced calculus for fun. He's now product development specialist with Moog Music, and he's also adjunct instructor of electronic music composition at UNCA. So I'd like to introduce Steve Dunnington. Steve?
Thank you. Over the years, Dr. Moog was my professor, my mentor, and my friend. I first met him in 1989 when I moved to Asheville to attend the university. His presence here was a large factor in determining my move to Asheville. His electronic music classes were highly illuminating for many of the students that he taught. He took his role here at UNCA very seriously, both as a professor and someone who would take time to offer his students guidance in their lives. I am always grateful for the example he set in his generosity and humility. For a man known worldwide in the field of both academic and popular music, he treated people with respect, no matter their walk of life. I'm fortunate that after graduation I was hired by his company, which is now called Moog Music. I'm honored to be part of a team that designs, manufactures, and sells electronic musical instruments bearing Bob Moog's name. My career there has taken me from the most basic of jobs to a role in envisioning and designing the instruments that we make. Along the way, I've played many roles in the company, and all of them benefited from Bob's advice, mentoring, and encouragement. I'm also fortunate that I've been given the opportunity to give back to the University of North Carolina at Asheville community by teaching the electronic music composition classes. It has been truly enjoyable seeing the learning creative processes of my students at work. Their talent and dedication has been inspiring. Dr. Moog is a huge positive influence in my life, but I'm not the only one who has benefited from his gifts as an engineer and as a person. Musicians worldwide have been deeply affected by the tools which he designed for making music. Part of the reason for this was Dr. Moog's most remarkable trait. He listened. Listening is more than hearing. It's a conscious activity that requires completely being in the moment. When Bob listened to what musicians had to say, both with their instruments and with their technical wants and needs, he was able to turn this information into designs that 45 years later remain very useful and valuable musical tools. Listening to what other people say opens doors and it creates opportunities. It's the cornerstone of learning and being able to make positive change in the world. So our ability to listen is something Bob was concerned with as he perceived the state of our society becoming ever more driven to distraction. It is then fitting that this studio, dedicated in the name of Dr. Bob Moog, is to be a classroom, compositional studio, and a space for listening to the musical compositions created here. For those who enjoy its use, please think of Bob Moog and use this studio as an oasis for listening, creating, and learning. Thank you.
Thank you, Steve. I hope many of you will be able to join us on Thursday evening at the White Horse Black Mountain. It's a new venue, and the performances that evening on the 3rd, starting at 8 o'clock, will feature the UNCA Electronic Music Ensemble. And they're going to accompany a segment, about a 45-minute segment of Metropolis, the great 1927 silent film by Fritz Lang. And it's going to be performed live. It should be very exciting. We're using virtually all Moog gear, including many of the instruments that Moog Music has been so generous to lend us. At the conclusion of today's program, I hope you'll stay around, visit with each other. I'd like to meet every single one of you that I haven't met yet. You're welcome. We're going to show some clips of some original film scores that are also going to be shown at Whitehorse. And we have a couple for you to look at before you leave if you'd like to stay. We have theremins set up so you can play with them. They're instruments you don't touch. They're all based on radio technology. And we have some of the theremins, some of the synthesizers set up. So please stay around. Please feel free to experiment with some of the instruments, and please visit with our students. And thank you very much. I'd like to ask Chancellor back to the podium. Thank you.
It sounds like both fun and education ahead of us. Congratulations and thank you, Dr. Kirby, thank you, Rosser, thank you, Steve, and thank you all for coming. So this is the moment where we will honor this extraordinary legacy, Bob Moog. His legacy will echo through these halls and in the ears of literally every music listener on the planet for centuries to come. The Board of Trustees of the University of North Carolina, Asheville, and I are pleased to honor his legacy with the official dedication of the Bob Moog EMS. May the work in this studio continue to advance and transform the field of music. Please stay and learn, and there are refreshments right around the corner. Thanks for coming.
This controls pitch. So you have to find a way to. So you can get different kinds of sounds out of it by changing the register. So now you can do it. You stand here.
Caroline.
Put your hand right here, and the no sound will come out. Put this other hand near this antenna. Okay, and then you're just going to move your hand back and forth like that. And to make it go louder. That's it. So now play a song. Play Jingle Bells. Try Jingle Bells.
That doesn't sound like Jingle Bells.
So you go, I'll tell you what, you play that part and I'll play this part. Oh, so you have to get closer for the high notes. Yes! All right. Congratulations. Okay. Yeah, we're going to demonstrate the Moog. This is this instrument revolutionized music in the 20th and 21st centuries. And this is an updated version that has some component of digital technology. But all of the sound you're hearing is based on the original invention of Bob Moog that transformed music forever.
It's a little overwhelming to hear people's gratitude and the way you've impacted someone's life. I know that he always appreciated it. He took a lot away from it. As Steve Dunnington was saying, he really listened, and he thought a lot about what people said. So he would be touched by it all.
And this is a sound with some release on it, meaning after you hit the note, it'll continue for a little bit.
Okay, that's great. I'll tell you what, we'll go back to playing with this equipment. Well, what I'm excited about here is that we're now able to, with all of this analog technology, we're going to be able to teach our students about classical electronic music. Now, most people don't think of electronic music in the same phrase with classical, but there is a serious art music made out of using this kind of equipment. And so now the students have an opportunity to learn this, and they in fact are going to be in Black Mountain at the White Horse on Thursday, December 3rd at 8 o'clock, and they're going to be showing clips, video clips that have been orchestrated and scored using this equipment. And that would have not been possible if it weren't for this lab and this wonderful equipment.
What would Mr. Moog say about all this?
I think Bob Moog would be thrilled to death. You know, and he's been very influential in my life, both personally and professionally. And I've sort of carried on the tradition that of compositional integrity. And there's certain things that he felt were important to really show off the capabilities of this technology. And my students are achieving that, and that really makes me excited and grateful. So I think he would be delighted and very proud of what's happened here.
I think that UNCA is a perfect place to have the first Bob Moog electronic music studio. My dad really enjoyed teaching here. He loved the kids, and I have met many students who he taught who really took a lot away from his classes, and I know that the future generations of students will be able to take a lot away from the studio here and carry on the legacy and continue to learn.